Cyber Threat Brief for March 17, 2026. CISA adds actively exploited Wing FTP flaw to KEV catalog with March 30 deadline. Google patches 2 Chrome 0 days with confirmed in the wild exploits. Ransomware profitability declining, but victim posts hit record highs. Iranian threat actors shift from custom wipers to identity weaponization. Microsoft Teams phishing campaign tricks users into granting quick assist access. Here's the full breakdown of today's top security stories. Cyber Threat Brief, March 17, 2026. Next section, Critical Alerts. Wing FTP Server Path Disclosure, CVE 2025-47813. CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, added CVE 2025-47813 to the Known Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog on March 16 due to active exploitation. This medium severity, CVSS, the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, 4.3, information disclosure flaw leaks the server's full local installation path when an overly long UID cookie value is supplied to the /loginoc HTML endpoint. The vulnerability affects all versions prior to 7.4.4 and is being exploited in the wild, potentially chained with CVE 2025-47812, CVSS 10.0, critical remote code execution, flaw patched in May 2025, that attackers use to download malicious Lua files and install remote management software. Action: upgrade Wing FTP server to version 7.4.4 or later by March 30, 2026, CISA BOD 22.1 deadline. This patch addresses both the path disclosure and the critical RCE vulnerability. The RCE has EPS, the Exploit Prediction Scoring System, score of 0, 927, 100th percentile, indicating extremely high likelihood of exploitation. Sources: Bleeping Computer, The Hacker News, CISA Alert. Google Chrome 0 days, CVE 2026-3909. CVE 2026-3910. Google patched 2 high-severity vulnerabilities in Chrome on March 16 that are actively exploited in the wild. CVE 2026-3909 is an out-of-bounds right in the Skiographics library. EPS 0.271, 96th percentile, and CVE 2026-3910 is an inappropriate implementation in the V8 JavaScript engine that enables out-of-bounds memory access. EPS 0.219, 96th percentile. Both vulnerabilities were added to CISA KEV, Known Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog, with a March 27 remediation deadline. Google acknowledged exploits exist, but provided no details on how the flaws are being used. Action: update Chrome to version 146.0.7680.75/76, Windows/macOS, or 146.0.7680.75, Linux, immediately. Microsoft Edge Chromium-based users should apply updates when available. Both CVEs are CISA KEV entries with March 27 deadline. Sources: The Hacker News, MSRC. Next section, Ransomware and Extortion. Ransomware profitability declining despite record victim, posts Google Threat Intelligence Group's 2025 ransomware analysis, shows signs of declining profitability across the ransomware ecosystem, driven by improved security practices, better recovery capabilities, and declining ransom payments. Despite this, data leak site posts jumped 48% to 7,784 in 2025, and unique leak sites climbed 35% to 128. The disconnect reflects a shift toward data theft extortion without encryption, which grew from 2% of incidents in 2020 to 15% in 2025. Ransomware incidents with encryption dropped from 39% in 2024 to 31% in 2025. Redbike was the most deployed ransomware family at 30% of incidents. Killin and Akira Raw S brands dominated after disruptions to Lockbit, Alf, Basta, and RansomHub. Key findings: initial access via vulnerability exploitation occurred in 33% of incidents, mostly VPNs and firewalls. Data theft occurred in 77% of ransomware intrusions, up from 57% in 2024. Targeting of virtualization infrastructure increased from 29% to 43%. Beacon and Mimikatz usage declined while reliance on remote management tools plateaued. Action: prioritize patching VPN and firewall vulnerabilities. Implement offline backups and test recovery procedures. Monitor virtualization infrastructure for unusual administrative activity. Data theft now occurs in most ransomware incidents, so assume exfiltration even if encryption doesn't occur. Sources: Google Threat Intelligence Cyberscoop. Iranian threat actors shift to identity weaponization. Palo Alto's Unit 42 tracks Iranian cyber operations, moving from custom wiper malware to living-off-the-land identity abuse tactics. Recent Void Manticore, Hendala, attacks compromised privileged identities to push legitimate remote wipe commands to over 200,000 devices globally, treating MDM platforms as weaponizable infrastructure that bypasses endpoint detection. This evolution began in 2016 to 2019 with MBR wipers like Shamoon, Zero Clear, and Dustman targeting Middle Eastern energy sectors, then shifted to ransomware smokescreens, Apostle, Fantasy, in 2020 to 2022 for plausible deniability. The current phase weaponizes administrative tools without deploying malware, removing critical detection guardrails. Boggy Serpent's Muddy Water, attributed to Iran's Ministry of Intelligence and Security, demonstrates similar evolution with sustained multi-wave campaigns against UAE maritime and energy infrastructure from August 2025 through February 2026. The group leverages hijacked accounts for trusted relationship compromises, employs AI-generated Rust-based tools like Blackbeard Backdoor, and uses Telegram API for command and control. Action: monitor privileged identity usage, especially MDM and cloud admin accounts. Implement conditional access policies and MFA, multi-factor authentication, for administrative tools. Review Azure Active Directory/Entra sign-in logs for unusual authentication patterns. Assume Iranian threat actors will abuse legitimate tools rather than deploy detectable malware. Sources: Unit 42 Iran Evolution, Unit 42 Boggy Serpents. Next section, Business and Infrastructure Threats. Microsoft Teams phishing campaign enables Quick Assist compromise. Microsoft Dart investigated an identity-first intrusion where a threat actor impersonated IT support via Microsoft Teams voice phishing calls in November 2025. After 2 failed attempts, the attacker convinced a third employee to grant remote access through Quick Assist, establishing a foothold on a corporate device. Once connected, the attacker directed the user to a spoofed credential harvesting page, then deployed a malicious MSI package that sideloaded a DLL dynamic link library to establish command and control. Subsequent payloads included encrypted loaders, remote execution tools, and credential harvesters enabling session hijacking. The attack exploited trust in collaboration platforms and built-in Windows tools designed to blend with legitimate enterprise activity. Action: restrict external Teams calls or require approval for external communication. Implement strict Quick Assist policies limiting use to approved IT staff. Monitor for unusual Quick Assist sessions, especially those accessing credential input pages. Train users to verify IT support requests through separate channels before granting remote access. Source: Microsoft Security Blog. Infostealer credential exposure accelerating throughout 2025. Recorded Futures 2025 Identity Threat Landscape Report shows credential theft accelerated dramatically in the second half of 2025, with 50% more credentials indexed than the first half and 90% more in Q4 than Q1. Total exposures: 1.95 billion from malware combo lists, 892 million from malware logs, 36 million from database combo lists, and 24 million from database dumps. Of credentials with identifiable authorization URLs, 63.2% targeted authentication systems, followed by web content management, 9.95%, cloud computing, 7.58%, RMM, remote monitoring and management, tools, 6.19%, and VPNs, 2.4%, detection and response software, 1.17%, and SIEM platforms, 0.6%, were also targeted, giving attackers the ability to blind security teams. Each compromised device yielded an average of 87 stolen credentials. 276 million credentials, 31% of malware sourced, included active session cookies, enabling MFA bypass. Over half, 53%, were indexed within 1 week of exfiltration, and 36.4% within 24 hours, meaning organizations have narrow windows to act on intelligence before credentials are exploited. Action: implement continuous credential monitoring for corporate domains. Force password resets for accounts appearing in Infostealer logs. Treat session cookies as compromised credentials and invalidate sessions. Monitor for impossible travel and anomalous authentication patterns. Prioritize detection speed over detection volume. Source: Recorded Future. Router botnets enslaved for criminal proxy services. Law enforcement dismantled SOX Escort, a criminal proxy service that enslaved thousands of residential routers into a botnet for large-scale fraud. The operation was powered by Avrekin malware targeting MIPS and ARM architectures via known vulnerabilities in edge network devices. The malware featured a persistence mechanism that flashed custom firmware to permanently disable updates, transforming Soho routers into proxy nodes that blindside corporate monitoring. Cadnap, a separate takedown-resistant botnet comprising over 14,000 routers and network devices, exploits known ASUS router vulnerabilities to ferry traffic for cybercrime anonymously. Action: update Soho routers and edge devices immediately. Disable remote management features if not required. Monitor for firmware modifications and unusual outbound proxy traffic patterns. Segment guest and EOT networks from corporate infrastructure. Source: The Hacker News. Storm 2000, 561 distributes fake VPN clients via SEO poisoning. A threat actor, identified as Storm 2000. 561 is running a credential theft campaign targeting VPN users through SEO poisoning. The campaign distributes fake VPN clients that deploy Trojans and steal login credentials. Action: download VPN clients only from official vendor websites or app stores. Verify digital signatures on downloaded installers. Block execution of unsigned or untrusted VPN software. Monitor for unusual VPN client installations via endpoint detection. Source: Security Week. Next section, Windows/AD security. Samsung Galaxy Connect app locks users /drive Microsoft, and Samsung confirmed that the Samsung Galaxy Connect app caused access denial errors to the /drive on Windows 11 systems running versions 24H2 and 25H2. Affected models include Samsung Galaxy Book 4, NP750XGJ, NP750XGL, NP754XGJ, NP754XFG, NP754XGK, and Samsung desktops, DM500SGA, DM500TDA, DM500TGA, DM501SGA. Users received is not accessible access denied errors that prevented launching Office apps, browsers, and utilities including Quick Assist. Some users could not elevate privileges, uninstall updates, or collect logs due to permission failures. Microsoft removed the app from the store, and Samsung republished a stable previous version, but recovery options for already impacted devices remain limited. Action: if affected, contact Samsung support for device-specific assistance. Do not install Samsung Galaxy Connect on affected Windows 11 models until fix is available. Microsoft and Samsung are developing remediation, but no workaround exists yet. Sources: Bleeping Computer The Register. Microsoft Exchange Online outage blocks mailbox access. Microsoft addressed an Exchange Online outage on March 16, x 1,253,275. that prevented customers from accessing mailboxes and calendars via Outlook on the web, Outlook desktop, Exchange ActiveSync, and other protocols. The company attributed the issue to a section of service infrastructure not processing traffic efficiently and made configuration changes to remediate. Separate outage, Mo 1,253,428, affected Microsoft 365 Copilot Web Sign-In and Copilot Web Clients at Office. Com/chat, M365. Cloud, Microsoft and Copilot. Cloud, Microsoft. Exchange Online outage was mitigated by 14 to 20 EDT, but the Copilot issue remained under investigation. This follows similar Exchange Online outages in January, IMAP 4 Access, and November, Classic Outlook Desktop Client. Action: no action required for Exchange Online. Monitor Service Health Dashboard for recurring issues. For Copilot Access, use application-based clients, Microsoft Copilot Desktop App, Copilot in Teams, or Copilot in Office apps until web sign-in is restored. Source: Bleeping Computer. Next section, General Security News. Meta discontinuing Instagram end-to-end encryption. In May 2026, Meta announced plans to discontinue end-to-end encryption for Instagram DMs after May 8, 2026, citing low adoption rates. A Meta spokesperson stated, "Very few people were opting in to end-to-end encrypted messaging in DMs, so we're removing this option from Instagram in the coming months. Anyone who wants to keep messaging with end-to-end encryption can easily do that on WhatsApp." Action: if using Instagram DMs for sensitive business communications, migrate to WhatsApp or another E2EE platform before May 8, 2026. Document the change in security policies if Instagram is approved for business use. Source: The Hacker News. UNC 6426 leverages NX NPM supply chain attack. For AWS admin access threat actor, UNC 6426 used keys stolen from the NX NPM package supply chain, compromise in August 2025, to completely breach a victim's AWS environment within 72 hours. The attacker abused GitHub to AWS OIG Trust to create a new administrator role, then exfiltrated files from S3 buckets and performed data destruction in production cloud environments. Action: review GitHub Actions workflows with AWS OIG Trust relationships. Implement least privilege IAM policies for CI/CD roles. Monitor CloudTrail logs for suspicious role creation and S3 data access patterns. Validate NPM package integrity in supply chain. Source: The Hacker News. Commonwealth Bank builds AI threat hunting agents. Australia's Commonwealth Bank built custom agentic AI tools for threat hunting because vendors cannot keep pace with AI-powered threats. The bank's weekly threat signal volume increased from 80 million 6 years ago to 400 billion last week. The bank's AI agent ingests threat intelligence, analyzes it against internal data, and identifies risks across legacy systems, on-prem infrastructure, SaaS, and cloud workloads. Response time for threat assessment dropped from 2 days to 30 minutes. A second agent searches for indicators of compromise and produces rapid reports. Source: The Register. Next section: Patch Priority. Wing FTP Server, upgrade to v7.4. Forward to patch CVE 2025-47813, Path Disclosure, CISA-KEV, and CVE 2025-47812, Critical RCE. Deadline: March 30, 2026. Google Chrome, update to 146.0.7680.75/76 for CVE 2026-3909 and CVE 2026-3910, both actively exploited 0 days, CISA-KEV. Deadline: March 27, 2026. VPN and firewall appliances, patch all known vulnerabilities. Attackers used VPN/firewall exploits as initial access in 33% of 2025 ransomware incidents. Soho routers, update firmware to prevent Avrekin and CAD/NAP botnet recruitment. Disable remote management if not required. Next section: Vulnerability Disclosures. Python pip, CVE 2026-1703, limited path traversal vulnerability when installing wheel archives. CVSS score and severity not published. EPS 0.0, 6th percentile. Source: MSRC. libarchive CVE 2026-4111 infinite loop denial of service in RAR5 decompression via archive read data. EPS 0.0, 11th percentile. Source: MSRC. Systemd CVE 2026-4105, privilege escalation via improper access control in register machine dbus method. EPS 0.0, 4th percentile. Source: MSRC. OpenSSL TLS1. 3 CVE 2026-2673, server may choose unexpected key agreement group. EPS 0.0, 5th percentile. Source: MSRC. Erlang SSH SFTPD, CVE 2026-23942, SFTP root escape via component agnostic prefix check. EPS 0.0, 4th percentile. Source: MSRC. Erlang SSH, CVE 2026-23943, pre-authentication SSH DOS via unbounded zlib inflate. EPS 0.0, 10th percentile. Source: MSRC. Erlang inets HTTPD, CVE 2026-23941, request smuggling via first-wins content length parsing. EPS 0.0, 3rd percentile. Source: MSRC. Vim CVE 2026-32249, NFA rejects engine null pointer dereference, affects Vim 9.2.0137. EPS 0.0, 2nd percentile. Source: MSRC. Linux kernel, CVE 2026-23066, CVE 2026-23069, CVE 2026-23066, RxRPC Requems, unconditional requeue issue. CVE 2026-23069, VSOC/Virtio potential underflow in Virtio transport get credit. Both EPS 0.0, 3rd 4th percentile. Source: MSRC. Next section: Trends and context. Today's stories show exploitation timelines collapsing. Wing FTP's Path Disclosure CVE, or Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures, is chained with a year-old RCE that attackers began exploiting 1 day after public disclosure. Chrome's 2.0 days were patched the same day Google confirmed active exploitation, but defenders still have an 11-day CISA deadline. The shift from custom malware to identity abuse by Iranian actors and the Microsoft Teams phishing campaign both highlight that attackers now weaponize trusted tools and legitimate access rather than deploying detectable payloads. The Infostealer data reinforces this. 36.4% of stolen credentials are indexed within 24 hours, meaning defenders have less than a day to detect and respond before credentials are sold and exploited. Ransomware profitability is declining, but attackers adapted by shifting to data theft extortion and targeting virtualization infrastructure that enables simultaneous encryption of multiple workloads. That concludes today's cyber threat brief. From Carolina Clear Tech. Stay patched, stay vigilant.